Karen's Tesla turned my driveway into a disco from hell, lights flashing and beeping like it was possessed by a poltergeist, all because I'd rigged my outlet to bite back after she'd been siphoning my electricity for weeks. I stood there, coffee steaming in my hand, watching her lose it in her flamingo pink bathrobe, and thought, oh, this is gonna be epic. Before I continue the story, write a comment below. Where are you watching from? Like if you want to constantly win in any conflicts. So, here's the deal. I'm Jake, a 34-year-old software engineer who thought I'd hit the jackpot moving into Maple Grove, Ohio, half-acre lot, slick modern house, and an HOA that didn't seem like it'd strangle me with red tape. I'm a laid-back guy, give me my Wi-Fi, my tech toys, and a quiet night tweaking smart home gear, and I'm happy. But then there's Karen Mitchell, the self-proclaimed Madam Secretary of the Willow Creek Enhancement Committee. Sounds like she crowned herself after too many glasses of Chardonnay, right? Day 1. I'm still unloading my truck when she marches over, leopard scarf flapping, sunglasses perched like she's a reality TV diva, and slaps a handwritten note on my windshield. My sin? A toolbox left out for 3 hours. Aesthetic violation, she scrawled, threatening a $50 fine if I didn't hide it by sundown. I hadn't even found my coffee maker yet. I laughed it off. Crazy neighbors are like spotty cell service. Irritating, but you deal. Then my power bill lands a month later, $215. Normally, it's $80. I barely crank the AC. I'm stomping around, checking every plug, thinking my smart lights went haywire. Then I flip through my Ring camera footage and my brain short circuits. There's Karen, 1 a.m., creeping into my driveway in that tacky pink bathrobe, fuzzy slippers slapping the pavement, plugging her Tesla into my outdoor outlet like it's a freebie at a strip mall. She tucks her hair back, smirks, and sachets off like she's just outsmarted the universe. I rewind it 3 times because this wasn't a one-time gig. She'd been at it for weeks, sometimes sneaking in the dark, sometimes bold as daylight, sipping her pumpkin spice latte while her cord sprawled across my lawn like a victory flag. I'm not the guy who yells. I'd rather tweak code than throw tantrums, but this was a declaration of war. She drained $204 worth of juice, 82 kilowatt hours. I tracked it with a smart meter I slapped on after the first sighting. Caught her on camera one afternoon, parked sideways across my driveway like she's claiming it for the HOA, cord dangling shamelessly. So I storm over that evening, pulse racing but voice cool, and say, Karen, you've been using my outlet. Can we sort this out? She blinks, all fake sweetness, and chirps, oh, Jake, I thought it was a community plug. It's just there, and you don't even have an electric car. I'm floored. I point out it's my house, my wiring, Loctite. She shrugs, flips her hair, and slams the door. Next night, she snips my zip tie. Day after, scratches on the lock. She's not just gutsy, she's a full-on HOA Karen on a power trip. That's when I flip the switch, silently, because I'm an engineer, not a hothead. I didn't just want her to stop. I wanted her to feel the sting. So I dig into my garage, grab an old irrigation timer, and cook up a low-voltage relay circuit. Safe, legal, but a nightmare for a Tesla's sensors. Think flashing lights, random beeps, a dashboard party she'd never forget. I stash it in a fake utility box, sync it to my motion sensor, and wait, grinning like I'd just cracked a secret level in a game. 3 nights later, she plugs in, struts off, and bam, 5 minutes in, her car goes berserk. Headlights strobing, horn chirping, screen glitching like it's cursed. She bolts out, yanking the cord, screaming about demonic tech, then pounds my door at dawn. Jake, your sorcery trashed my car. I sip my coffee, nod, and say, wow, that's nuts. Inside, I'm howling. But wait, it gets better. While she's melting down over her haunted Tesla, I've got a second surprise simmering. She'd been tapping my private water line for her prized roses, and I'd rigged something juicy there too. Stick around, this HOA Karen's about to drown in her own game, and I'm just warming up. So there I was, leaning against my kitchen counter, watching Karen flail in my driveway as her Tesla threw a tantrum, lights blinking, horn blaring, all thanks to my little relay trick. But while she was out there cursing my evil tech, I had a bigger ace up my sleeve, and it was about to hit her where it hurt most, her precious rose garden. If you're still with me, and I hope you are, drop a quick Karen's toast in the comments, because this next move is straight out of a petty revenge playbook, and I need you cheering me on as this HOA Karen's empire starts to crumble. Let's rewind a bit. After I caught Karen siphoning my electricity, $204 worth, tracked down to the what, I started noticing other weird stuff. My water bill spiked last month, $95 instead of the usual $40. I don't even have a pool. I'm scratching my head, thinking maybe a pipe's leaking, when I spotted on my side yard camera a thin green hose snaking from my private well hookup, buried under some mulch, straight into Karen's backyard. She'd been watering her award-winning roses, those tacky, over-pruned monstrosities she bragged about at every HOA meeting, with my water. For months. I'm talking 1,200 gallons, roughly $55 worth, just to keep her little floral kingdom thriving. I felt my blood boil, but I kept my cool. Engineers don't rage, we strategize. I'd already zapped her Tesla into a light show, but this called for something messier. See, my well's got an old irrigation line I don't use, perfect for a little experiment. I spent a Saturday rigging it up, rerouted the output to a backup tank I'd filled with gray water from my laundry and sink, nothing toxic, just murky, smelly, and oh so gross. I hooked it to a timer, synced it to my phone, and buried the hose back under her mulch, right where she'd tapped in. The plan? Next time she hooked up her Tesla, I'd flip the switch and give her roses a bath she'd never forget. I'm grinning just thinking about it, picturing her smug face when her best garden plaque turned into a soggy joke. 3 nights after the Tesla meltdown, she's back, because of course she is. She plugs in, struts off, and I'm watching live on my app, heart pounding like I'm about to drop a game-winning shot. The relay kicks in, her car's lights flicker, she runs out yelling, but this time, I tap my phone, and the irrigation line hums to life. I peek out my window, and it's glorious, a gush of cloudy, funky water blast from her sprinklers, soaking her rose beds. The stench hits fast, think wet socks and dishwater, and her pristine petals start drooping under the onslaught. She's still raging about her car, oblivious, until she spins around, sees the flood, and lets out a shriek that could wake the dead. My roses! My babies! She wails, slipping on wet grass as she tries to yank the hose. I'm doubled over, biting my lip to keep from laughing out loud. She storms my porch again, 6:30 a.m., hair plastered to her face, bathrobe dripping, and bangs like she's auditioning for a crime drama. Jake, you poisoned my garden. You're a monster. I crack the door, sipping my coffee, all calm and collected. Poisoned? Karen, that's my water line you've been stealing from. Maybe it's just karma catching up. Her eyes bulge, her mouth flaps like a fish, and she stomps off, muttering about legal action. I'm shaking with silent glee, because this HOA Karen just got a double whammy, and she's got no clue what's coming next. Meanwhile, across the street, old Mr. Thompson's sipping his tea, watching the whole thing from his porch. He catches my eye later that day, gives me a nod, and says, "Son, you're a quiet one, but you've got guts." I shrug, but inside I'm buzzing someone's finally seeing through her nonsense. Back at Karen's, she's on her phone, pacing her soggy yard, probably calling the HOA to cry wolf. And sure enough, 2 days later, I get a letter, violation notice, interference with neighborhood aesthetics, $150 fine. For my water line? On my property? Oh, this is rich. That's when I realize this isn't just petty theft anymore. It's a full-on HOA Karen war. She's not backing down, and neither am I. I start digging into the HOA bylaws, poring over every vague line like it's a treasure map, because if she's weaponizing rules, I'm gonna outsmart her at her own game. And trust me, what's cooking next is gonna make her Tesla tantrum look like a warm-up act. Stick with me, because this showdown's about to hit the fan. So there I was, flipping through a stack of HOA bylaws thicker than a phone book, while across the street Karen's soggy rose garden stank up the block and her Tesla sat in her driveway, still twitching from my relay prank. I'd hit her with a 1-2 punch, electric chaos, and a gray water bath, but this HOA Karen wasn't waving a white flag. She was reloading, and I was about to turn her own game against her. If you're still riding this wild train with me, and I'm betting you are, drop a "Go Jake" in the comments, because this next chapter's a masterclass in outsmarting an HOA tyrant, and I need your energy to keep this fire blazing. Here's how it went down. After the rose debacle, Karen didn't just sulk, she doubled down. 2 days later, I'm sipping my morning coffee when the mail hits, an HOA notice, all caps, screaming urgent, violation, interference with community standards, $150 fine. For what? Unsightly water discharge and disruption of neighborhood harmony. From my well, on my land, that she tapped into. I'm fuming, steam practically pouring out my ears, because this isn't just petty, it's delusional. I'm picturing her smug face, typing up that complaint in her leopard print office, thinking she's untouchable. Oh, Karen, you've poked the wrong engineer. I'm not one to storm around yelling. I'd rather build a solution than break a sweat, so I dive into the HOA charter like it's a coding project. Hours pass, coffee cups pile up, and I find gold. A vague little line buried on page 17. Exterior utilities visible from the street may be subject to HOA oversight. It's flimsy, but it's what she's leaning on to call my outlet, and well, community property. Classic Karen move. Twist the rules till they scream. But I've got something better, proof. See, I'd upgraded my setup after the Tesla Zap, smart meter logs, 3-angle camera feeds, even a water flow tracker. Every time she plugged in or siphoned my well, I had it time-stamped, down to the second. While I'm plotting, Karen's on the warpath. She's knocking on doors, waving her clipboard like it's a scepter, telling neighbors I'm a tech menace who attacked her car and garden out of spite. Old Mrs. Jenkins from 2 houses down texts me later. Yeah, we swapped numbers after she asked for Wi-Fi help, saying, Jake, she's saying your outlet gave her Tesla a nervous breakdown. I'm cracking up because it's so absurd it's almost art. Meanwhile, Mr. Thompson across the street, he's the tea-sipping spectator, catches me mowing my lawn and whispers, she's losing it, kid. Keep your head down. But I'm not ducking, I'm loading up. The HOA meeting rolls around, a stuffy Tuesday night in the clubhouse. I'm in jeans and a hoodie, carrying a laptop and a stack of printouts, while Karen's up front in a blazer and scarf, looking like she's about to keynote a TED Talk. She launches into her spiel, voice quivering with fake outrage. Jake's a danger. He sabotaged my car. Look at this diagnostic report, voltage spikes. And he flooded my award-winning garden with filth. We can't let this stand. The board, 5 bored retirees who'd rather be home, not along, because Karen's their golden child. I'm sitting there, pulse racing but face blank, letting her dig her hole deeper. Then it's my turn. I stand, plug my laptop into the projector, and click. Slide 1. Crystal clear footage of Karen plugging her Tesla into my outlet, 12:14 a.m., timestamp glowing. Slide 2. A graph, 88 kilowatt-hours stolen, $219 in red ink. Slide 3. 10 more clips, her face lit up by my floodlight, smirking as she hooks up. I've got dramatic music, think Law and Order vibes, because why not? The room goes dead silent. Karen's jaw tightens, the HOA president's eyebrows shoot up, and the treasurer, Dave, chokes on his water. I pass out printouts, power logs, water usage, 1,300 gallons, $58, plus a note from my insurance saying unauthorized utility use could void my policy. This, I say, voice steady, is what she's been doing. Not me. Karen sputters. That's a lie. He's harassing me. I hold up a finger. Calm, cool, and drop the hammer. A schematic of my relay device, filed for a provisional patent, reviewed online as safe and clever. It's no worse than a static shock, I say. She used my outlet a dozen times before it even tripped. Tesla's fine, just confused. Dave mutters, well, damn, that's slick. And the room shifts. Someone in the back, think it's Mrs. Jenkins, snorts. Karen, you're the one sneaking around. A ripple of laughter spreads, and Karen's face turns beet red. The vote's quick. Her $150 fine on me? Tossed. My record? Cleared. And Karen? Stripped of her Madam Secretary title on the spot. She's ordered to pay me $219 for the power, or they'll double it, and slap a lien on her house. She storms out, scarf flapping like a wounded bird, and I'm buzzing. Victory tastes sweet. But across the cul-de-sac, she's already plotting her next move. And trust me, this HOA Karen's not done yet. Stick around, because she's about to trip over her own trap. So there I was, basking in the glow of my HOA win. Karen's title stripped, her wallet $219 lighter, when I caught her silhouette in my side yard at 2 a.m., dragging a garden hose like she was plotting a heist gone wrong. I'd humiliated her in front of the neighborhood, but this HOA Karen wasn't slinking away. She was doubling down, and I was about to watch her crash and burn in the most glorious way yet. If you're still here laughing at this chaos, and I know you are, drop a Karen's done in the comments, because this next twist is pure gold, and I need your vibes to keep this showdown rolling full throttle. Let's set the stage. After the HOA meeting, I'm feeling like the king of Maple Grove, Fines dropped, neighbors nodding at me like I'm some quiet hero. Mr. Thompson even slips me a thumbs up over his tea, muttering, "You've got her on the ropes, kid." Across the street, Karen's licking her wounds, her Tesla parked crooked, her rose garden still reeking like a swamp. I figure she'll lay low, maybe rethink her life choices. Nope. 2 days later, I'm nailing down some solar panels, my latest project, when Mrs. Jenkins texts me. She's at it again, Jake. Saw her taping flyers to mailboxes. Flyers? I snag one from my own box, handwritten, all caps, "Beware, tech saboteur threatens our homes." It's got my name, claims I'm disrupting energy fields with illegal devices. I'm howling energy fields? I've got a Wi-Fi router, not a sci-fi ray gun. I'm half annoyed, half amused, but then my motion sensor pings at 2 a.m. I'm bleary-eyed on the couch, the office humming in the background, when I check the feed. There's Karen, in a windbreaker and slippers, hauling a hose across my gravel path scritch-scratch, like nails on a chalkboard. She's crouching by my irrigation box, the one I'd used to douse her roses, fumbling with a fake valve I'd bolted on as a decoy. My real setup's locked tight under a hidden panel, upgraded after her last stunt, with a tiny camera inside. I'm wide awake now, heart racing, because this HOA Karen's trying to flip the script, maybe flood my yard, sabotage my well, but she's got no clue she's walked into my trap. I'd rigged the system post-Rose incident, motion sensors in the soil, a concealed sprinkler head, and a remote trigger on my phone. She's grunting, smacking the box with her flashlight, when I tap the app. The sprinkler kicks on full blast, ice-cold water straight to her face. She yelps, slips on the gravel, and lands flat on her back, hose flopping around her like a snake with a grudge. I'm biting my fist to keep from cackling as she scrambles up, soaked, hair wild, and bolts back to her side of the street, leaving the hose behind. It's perfection. I didn't even have to leave my couch. Next morning, I'm sipping coffee, replaying the footage, her shrieks Oscar-worthy, when an emergency HOA conduct review notice hits my inbox. Karen's pulled the fire alarm again. I roll up to the clubhouse, casual in my hoodie, while she's there in a dramatic scarf and sunglasses, clutching a tissue like she's testifying in court. "Jake attacked me," she wails. "Malicious sprinklers ambushed me during a routine inspection." I'm fighting a grin as she waves printouts, some nonsense from a Facebook group about her Tesla's electromagnetic trauma. The board's skeptical this time, still burned from her last flop. I play the footage, her sneaking, tampering, then the sprinkler blast. The room erupts, Dave snorts, Mrs. Jenkins claps a hand over her mouth, and even the president cracks a smirk. Karen's not done. She slams down a petition, "Remove the hacker from Maple Grove," with 5 signatures, hers, her hairdresser's, and 3 randos who thought it was for a bake sale. I don't even speak. The video says it all. The board censures her this time, official warning, one more stunt, and it's legal action. She storms out, scarf whipping, and I'm buzzing another one. But across the cul-de-sac, she's already scheming, whispering to anyone who'll listen. Flyers multiply, claiming I'm controlling minds with tech. I'm rolling my eyes, but then a Tesla rep knocks on my door. Karen's filed a complaint with them. Stick around, because this HOA Karen's about to dig her grave even deeper. So there I was, sipping sweet tea on my porch, replaying the sprinkler-soaked glory of Karen's latest flop, when a sleek black sedan pulls up and a guy in a Tesla Polo steps out. Turns out this HOA Karen's gone full scorched earth, claiming my outlet scarred. Her car's soul. I'd already turned her roses into a swamp and her HOA crown into confetti, but now she's swinging for the fences, and I'm about to watch her strike out in spectacular fashion. If you're still glued to this saga, and I'm counting on it, smash that subscribe button and tell me in the comments, what's the wildest thing an HOA Karen's ever pulled on you? Because this next twist a doozy, and I need your stories to keep this fire roaring. Let's rewind a bit. After the HOA meeting where Karen got censured, her trespassing caught on tape, her petition laughed off, I figured she'd slink away, tail between her legs. Wrong. She pivoted hard, plastering the neighborhood with more flyers. "Jake's tech terror threatens our safety." One claimed my solar panels, newly installed, shiny as heck, were beaming mind control waves. I'm dying laughing. Mind control? I can barely get my Alexa to play the right song. Mrs. Jenkins texts me. She's telling folks your house hums at night. People are eating it up. Across the street, Mr. Thompson's shaking his head over his tea, muttering, "She's lost the plot, son." I'm annoyed, sure, but mostly I'm just marveling at her stamina, This HOA Karen's a one-woman conspiracy machine. Then the Tesla guy shows up, mid-30s, polite, clipboard in hand. Mr. Larson? I'm with Tesla's customer integrity team. We got a complaint about electrical damage from your outlet. I'm stunned, then grinning, because this is peak Karen. I invite him in, pour him coffee, and lay it all out. The footage, the power logs, $219 worth of theft, the relay schematic, even the HOA ruling. He's flipping through my printouts, nodding. When I say, she claims it's haunting her car, random music, glitches. He chuckles. Yeah, she said the soul of the vehicle feels off. We've heard some wild ones, but this, he trails off, shaking his head. I'm buzzing. This is too good. Turns out, Karen filed a formal claim. My rogue voltage caused phantom issues, Bluetooth cutting out, console flickering, demanding a new Tesla or cash. The guy reviews my relay specs, safe, non-damaging, and says, this wouldn't even scratch the system. Her diagnostics show no real issues, just sensor confusion. He leaves, no action taken, and I'm thinking that's the end. But 3 days later, Tesla flags her account. High maintenance alert, extra scrutiny on future claims. She doesn't know yet, but her golden goose just laid a dud. Meanwhile, the neighborhood block parties that weekend, big deal, kids running around, grills smoking. I'm chilling by my fence, sweet tea in hand, when Karen rolls up, Tesla parked front and center like a trophy. Someone asks, hey, why's your screen flickering? Her face freezes, Bluetooth's glitching again, playing some random polka tune. It's fine, she snaps, but then Mr. Thompson pipes up, didn't Jake catch you stealing power? Saw it online. Karen spins, spots me grinning, and her eyes narrow, she knows the tide's turning. Neighbors start whispering, pointing. Her car's a punchline now, not a status symbol. She mutters about rogue frequencies and peels off, tires squealing. Across the cul-de-sac, she's fuming, slamming doors. While I'm fielding high fives from folks who've seen the viral clip, someone posted Karen's free power fiasco online, 600K views on YouTube. I didn't upload it. Maybe Mrs. Jenkins, but it's gold. Her plugging in, the Tesla freaking out, captions roasting her. She tries selling her house next week. For sale by owner, sign up for 48 hours, then gone. Open houses flop, trolls flood Zillow comments. Does it come with free juice? She's sinking, and I'm thriving, solar panels humming, neighbors asking for tech tips. But this HOA Karen's got one last gasp, stick around, because her final swing's a flop for the ages. So there I was, stringing up solar-powered LEDs for the neighborhood holiday contest, when Karen's moving truck roared in at dawn. Her Tesla loaded up, her HOA rain in ashes after one last desperate flop. I'd turned her power theft into a viral joke and her roses into a punchline, but this HOA Karen's grand exit was the cherry on top, and I was about to savor every second of it. Hey, you've stuck with me through this wild ride, legend status. Drop a Jake wins in the comments and hit subscribe if you're loving this finale, because I'm wrapping this saga with a bow, and I want you celebrating with me. Let's finish strong. Let's backtrack to where it all peaked. After the block party, Karen's Tesla glitching like a haunted jukebox, neighbors snickering she was a ghost on fumes. Her house hit the market, but the viral video, Karen's free power fiasco, tanked it, 800K views now. Zillow comments asking if the roses smell included. Open houses? Busts. One guy showed up just to snap a pic of her porch from the clip's freeze frame. She yanked the listing, muttering about toxic neighbors, but across the street, I'm thriving, solar panels purring. Neighbors begging for my outlet password. It's Polite Power 123, by the way. Mr. Thompson even dubs me the HOA Whisperer. Not sure if it's a flex, but I'll take it. Then came the annual holiday decorating contest, Maple Grove's Super Bowl. Karen won it twice, strong-arming judges with guilt trips about her community spirit. This year, I'm in minimalist vibe, white LEDs, solar-powered, sleek as heck. Karen's still here, desperate to reclaim her crown, draping her house in gaudy inflatables, Santa doing the floss, lights blinking like a seizure warning. I'm tweaking my setup when she struts over, scarf flapping, and sneers, Jake, your little lights won't beat my legacy. I shrug, we'll see, Karen, but inside, I'm plotting one final jab. I'd added a lawn sign, backlit soft and subtle, powered by the sun, not the neighbors. It's petty, sure, but it's a nod to her downfall, and I'm betting it'll sting. Contest night rolls in, kids oohing, adults judging, and my sign's a hit. People snap pics, chuckling. One guy yells, that's the spirit, Jake. Karen's over there, forcing smiles, But her setup's off, half her lights flicker, inflatables sag. Turns out, she'd skimped on power planning. Ironic, right? Judges tally votes. She lands fourth, behind me, a flipping Santa, and a kid's tinfoil house labeled budget bling. I don't win. Third's fine. But her face? Priceless. She stomps off, muttering about rigged votes, while Mrs. Jenkins whispers, "Karma's got a sense of humor." Next morning, that moving truck rumbles in. No goodbye. No wave. Karen's Tesla's hauled off on a trailer, her house empty by sunrise. I'm on my porch, coffee in hand, watching with quiet glee, not because she's gone, but because she'd run out of lies to spin. The new owners roll in a week later, Tom and Linda, retirees from Colorado. Tom's first words? "So, that outlet story true?" I laugh, spill the tale, and hand him the password card. "Welcome to the neighborhood," I say, and he grins. "You're one hell of a welcome committee." Meanwhile, the block's buzzing. Kids wear sun, not neighbors, tease someone printed. Neighbors wave like I'm a local legend. Dave from the HOA asks me to pitch a community solar grid. Karen's not invited to that chat. Last I hear, she's suing Tesla for emotional distress, claims her new car's radio flip stations, stuck on Sweet Caroline in a loop. I hope it's true. It's the perfect encore for this HOA Karen's collapse. And me? I'm cool, sunny hum, no fines, just the sweet beeping of sensors if someone trespasses on my rig. I'm still setting up that relay though, just in case. What conflicts have you had with HOA or someone you know? Write about it in the comments.